As Slipknot celebrates the 25th anniversary of their self-titled album, members of the band have been giving interviews and speaking about what fans can expect this year. It's clear that they have a lot in store, including recent comments from Clown when he said that new music is much closer than fans realize. And now Clown's participating in an AMA on the Slipknot subreddit, and he had a lot of interesting responses to some really good questions from the fans, talking about the band's latest album, The End So Far, dealing with membership changes and lawsuits and everything in between. So let's take a look at what he had to say in response to all of these fan questions. So here's his introduction. He wrote, "Hey everybody, I want to take the time to say thank you for being here today. I enjoyed myself very much. Wish I could do this all day. Just want to say thank you. We'll be on tour soon, so hopefully we'll see you out there. Until then, take care of yourself and one another. Have a great day and thank you." So let's see some of the questions that he answered. One fan said, "What's look-wise your favorite mask you've worn, and what's your favorite mask of another member?" He said, "All my masks are making up one concept, so I enjoy each one of them for what they are for the cycle worn. No favorites, all voices. Again, no way of picking a favorite mask within the Brotherhood because at different moments in life, each one speaks to you strongly. It becomes a necessity. Again, no favorites, just voices." This fan wrote in all caps, "Will you be playing all of Self-Titled on this tour?" He wrote, "As always, we left it up to how we feel. Right now is more or less scheduled for all things, but of course, heavy Self-Titled. Things can change at any moment, but it's time of reflection on the Self-Titled album." So this is similar to what we saw with Sick New World and Welcome to Rockville, where they played a lot from Self-Titled, but they're also going to play a lot of the other hits as well. Some really good questions here, some important stuff like Mr. Clown, what's your favorite ice cream flavor? He said, "All right, this is a serious question. I don't take too much time on this, but I would have to say if I had to break it all the way down, it would be some homemade, and I do mean homemade strawberry ice cream. But with all that said, you can't go wrong with Ben & Jerry's. Know what I'm saying?" I do know what you're saying. I've had a lot of Ben & Jerry's, maybe too much. "Have there been any songs that have changed meaning to you throughout the years?" He said, "Vermilion over the years has changed colors in my mind. I used to listen to it from a possible Corey position, and somewhere along the ride, the color changed to more of my personal position, and the words became more my words, and I started seeing different things in my mind. I feel a lot during that song and express a lot. It's needed." I think that's one of their best tracks. What was the process for Eloy's audition? He says, "This is more or less a private matter. As you can imagine, it's based off the love of what we create. It begins there. So there's a lot of conversations in order to get the final idea on how and why we want to do what we want to do." In this case, it was to jam with Eloy. This fan asked, "I always wondered, did Paul do backing vocals on Self-Titled record, or was it all you? Love the work and long live the Nod." He said, "If my memory serves correctly, absolutely. Paul has some screams in there as well as Mick has a part too." Great question. This fan asked, "Who's your favorite horror movie slasher?" Love you and the whole band, by the way. He said, "I do not prefer slasher films at all, too much for my brain. I'm old school. I love movies like Phantasm, Salem's Lot, It's Alive, Hellraiser. With that said, I sort of lean towards psychological thrillers." He was asked, "What's the most meaningful song to you?" He said again, "It's virtually impossible for someone in my situation to narrow it down to only one piece of art. In fact, it's not even something I'm willing to do. Every song plays a different voice in my head when needed. Music is the only thing that has always been there for me. Most times I'll choose records to help me through my emotions and mood. I spend a lot of time with our weirder songs, if you will, such as Purity, Circle, Prosthetics, Danger, Keep Away, so on and so forth. These sort of tunes are sort of where I'm at the majority of the time, but with that said, there are another side of me that requires Sick, The Blister Exists, Eeyore, so on and so forth." What are the most challenging aspects of songwriting for a band of Slipknot's size? He says, "I don't know if it's challenges as much as it's allowing yourself to be able to take in all things. Consider all things, offer all things. Otherwise, it can get a lot of communication duped over itself where you can't make your way through any of it. What is a word that defines Slipknot?" Slipknot. He was asked, "If you woke up tomorrow and all the members of Slipknot had superpowers, what would they be?" He said, "I've always loved the fact that we are just what we are in this reality, which is Slipknot. And if there was a power, I'd suppose it'd be the ability to be united for the time on stage together. You cannot mess with that entity." This is an interesting question. How do you deal with controversy like parting ways with members and being sued? He said, "Unfortunately, left has right, up has down, and fame brings heartache. The good news is I personally use all circumstances in my life to learn and forgive. I'm constantly trying to be the best man I can be here on this planet. If you allow the toxicity in, not only can you not breathe, but you cannot learn. It's difficult, but it's been going on in my life since the beginning. Here's another big question. What is, in your opinion, the best sandwich? He said, before I was a vegan, a good old grilled outside burger with fresh Iowa grown tomatoes surrounded by family. Now I'm struggling to find the best vegan options, but I love any sandwich my wife makes. Great answer there. Do you ever feel a sense of nervousness going on stage even after all these years? He said, I am never nervous. I am never scared. I'm always ready to get it on. That's the problem. The anxiousness to go on. It can be sickening. I love to play live. He was asked if you could change one thing about the past in general, what would it be? Also, is it true that you play Minecraft? He said, I don't spend any time in the past. It's wasted potential. If the memory can be pleasant, I can be there. I do all I can to live in the present. I think he's absolutely right about that. And he says, yes, I play Minecraft. And if you haven't heard, I believe tomorrow night is when they're doing test runs on my own server. So keep your eyes and ears open for that. What's the worst injury you got on stage, either because of another member or by yourself? He said, ripping my left bicep in half, causing injury, not fun. This fan said, will there be a re-recording of some songs with Eloy and Jeff? He said, we focus more on today and if there's time tomorrow. With that said, we are very, very happy that we get to start at the ground level and begin to write together. It's a new era, but familiar territory. It's going to be fantastic. Get ready. Now, we've heard some stuff from other members of the band who weren't exactly thrilled with how the Insofar's recording process went and kind of expressed that in some interviews. This fan's asking, what are your thoughts about how the Insofar turned out? He said, they're all my favorites because their voices deep in your mind and you're able to bring them out. Each one holds a special place. But honestly, I've never had enough time to fully execute the entire vision of each. It's not an excuse. It's just how things roll in this business. But like albums, you do have to stop one project sooner or later and move on. With that said, I personally had a ton of fun making the video All Out Life. He was asked how the Rolls-Royce grill idea came up in his kit, and did you just do it because it looks cool as hell, or is there more meaning? He said, everything I do has meaning. I've heard that in some other reality you have arrived when you have a Rolls-Royce, so I figured I'd let that really understand my reality, way better version. He's asked, what artists are you into at the moment? He says, I listen to a lot of Cult of Luna, Crosses, as much smooth jazz as I can listen to. I've been listening to Black Labyrinth, the album by Jonathan Davis, and a little Blackout by Scorpions. He had a lot of great answers there, and Slipknot, of course, has been hyping up a new single from the band. Sounds like it could be arriving in the near future. And they've also got this amazing 25th anniversary tour happening in North America and also heading to Europe later this year, as well as Knotfest, Iowa. That's your latest update here from Rockfeed. Be sure to subscribe with notifications on for your latest news and updates.